Hello and welcome back to Sword of the Stars 2. We are on turn 5 of our Let's Play and we have established our colony at Barret. This is a crappy little world, small size, not great resources. I think we're just gonna try to make the best out of this as a crappy little trading world and that's that. I'm hitting Control A here, but nothing's coming up because none of our other fleets have finished their jobs. We have one survey fleet on the way to Lambda and another one on the way to Altera. They haven't made it yet. We had started building some ships in Uxor. We have built the command ship, but the civilian colonizer hasn't been built yet, so next turn we'll be able to do that. Here we have 2 colony ships that are waiting for a fleet to come back that they can join. And that is pretty much it for this turn. So it's a quick turn. We can move on. Let's just take a look at our economy quickly. We are burning through cash because we are now building ships from 2 separate systems. So in a couple turns, we might have to adjust our budget. Let's move right along to the next turn here. Also notice that we are now...
They finished the new outpost, Director.
Thank you. And we finished the survey and we finished that survey. So we'll get back to that in a second. So we finished... We are now actively working on 2 colonies, and so we have to support... Right, we've got to pay about 80,000 per turn just supporting these unterraformed planets. So that's, you know, in the early game, if you start colonizing a lot, this is going to eat up all of your budget and you can quickly sort of get into an economic death spiral. Okay, we're still okay for a couple turns in terms of our budget, so that's good. A few things happened. We built the station here at Uxor, so let's add those warehouses. I mean, this is not an emergency. We don't have to do it right now, but why not? The construction fleet is done. Yeah, so that's the thing. Right now I can't cancel the return mission because you can't cancel return missions. I forget if I can, yeah, but I can't then tell it to construct again. So it's only really when you do it in the same system that you can cancel that mission instantaneously to try to get like a free turn, if you will, with that fleet. Anyways, we have enough here to create a new colonization fleet. So let me show you how you do that. Because we have a command ship here. So we will we'll create fleet. We will make a new fleet. You should select your own admiral. So there's a whole system in this game about different admirals that have like different attributes, right? I'm not gonna, you can honestly, you can ignore all of these stats and it won't make a huge difference, but they actually do stuff in the game. This is more important. The trait of your admiral is more important. Now, fortunately, when you hover over it, you can tell exactly what it does. So it's not, so this is not a mystery. It's quite clear what it does. We are looking for a colonization fleet, and our first colonization fleet has a perfect admiral, right? Green thumb, increasing terraforming when you colonize ships. That's exactly what we want. And architect is what we want for construction. You always get 2 pathfinders, an architect, and a green thumb at the beginning, right? Pathfinders is good for surveys. So that's obviously a good thing, right? Now, we don't have another green thumb here. Wastrel is going to cost us more money. So let's just go for Skeptic, which reduces side points. We don't care about that. So that's neither good nor bad. So I'm going to name this fleet. This is just my shorthand because I'm lazy. So I'm going to call this C2 for Colonization Fleet 2. You know what? Okay, I'm always this lazy, but you know, this is the Let's Play, so I'll actually write it out. I will bother to spend the time. Just they get sorted alphabetically, right? So I don't like calling it first colonization fleet because then it'll be next to first whatever attack fleet, and then they all get mixed up. So I'm gonna call it Colonization. All right. Normally I'm like, why am I writing out colonization fleet, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, let's be nice about it. Wait, no, this is silly because we won't see it here. I'm just going to call it colonization 2, okay? It's a compromise. I've written out the word out in long form so you guys can see it clearly, but I can see everything here on my list. So colonization 2, which means we should probably rename this fleet colonization 1, right? All right. So we have made this fleet and I have assigned the colonizer to it. Now, obviously there are more colonizers on the way, but what I wanted to do was just get this support mission going here because this fleet, I'm going to cancel its mission. So in other words, it's just going to return here and it's not going to continue supporting this planet here. I'm going to reassign it to support the Archon colony. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll have it come and colonize this. But you see, this is the next option. Well, we have now only 2 planets left that we can colonize that we know of so far. Cetus 2, which is going to cost 264, and Altara 1, which is going to cost 305. And none of these are really exciting planets. Let's deal with survey first. So clearly the only place we have left to survey is Ilmatar. Now, hopefully this won't be blocked by another race and we have like another access to the rest of the world. Otherwise, this is a really tiny and not very exciting piece of land to start the game in. We might have to do some early fighting, which is not at all what I wanted to do. Anyways, so yeah, this survey fleet is going to go here. This survey fleet is going to come back, which I guess is okay because then it will be resupplied and ready to head out on a new mission. I might try to survey through the Lear here. So I think our next option for colonization is actually going to be to support here. And I want to build a naval station at Cetus because then I'll be able to harbor the colonization fleet at Cetus and it will reduce the travel time. So let me make that more clear. When I colonize Barrett, the colonization fleet travels, let's say the fleet is based at Archon. It travels to Barrett, drops off supplies, goes back to Archon, picks up supplies, goes back to Barrett, and so on and so forth. And this is also what it does during the support part of the mission. So because we're Soul Force, we actually travel really fast through these node lines, right? It only takes 1 or 2 turns to make this trip. But if you're like Lear at the beginning of the game, this takes forever, right? So you're wasting a lot of time in transit. You're only having 1 supply drop every 5-6 turns, maybe 9 turns if you're a slow race. What you could do is build a naval station at the planet. I could build a naval station right now at Barrett because you can always build 1 station. Even though the colony isn't self-sufficient, you can build a naval station. Then once a naval station is built, you relocate the fleet and rebase it at that naval station. And then it carries the supplies from the naval station because apparently they have tons of supplies. So the colony fleet just every turn drops supplies. So it really increases the rate at which you can terraform and adapt the planet. So to be fair, this distance here is tiny, right? And we're Soul Force, it's very quick. So this wouldn't be a long trip. It would probably, I think it's just 1 turn, right? Let's see. Yeah. So by the way, if I select Archon, then right click Cetus, I get, of course, the menu, but you see here it says 4.88 light years. And Soul Force ships travel at 9, well, the constructor travels slower, but everyone else travels at 9 light years per turn. So we can cover this distance in 1 turn. So that would mean 1 turn, colonize, then back, then 1 turn, colonize, then back. So that's still only 1 supply drop every 2 turns. It's much better if I can harbor the fleet in orbit at a naval station. So that's my plan for colonizing Cetus, and then we're going to try to colonize Altara afterwards. Also, 300k per turn is not really affordable at this point, considering my entire budget is like 470, and I'm already running out of money because I'm building, colonizers. All right, so that is the plan. Let us hope. My major concern now is running out of space, so I hope that this will open up elsewhere. We'll see. Okay, let's move on to the next turn. It looks like the game has frozen, but that's just running the turn processing. Okay, I'm hitting Control A quickly just to see what I have available. And nothing new, it's just saying Colonization 1 has returned to the base. Now, we've been building a lot of colony ships here, so let us add them. So, I mean, it's intuitive, and your intuition will be correct if you guess that more colonizers in a mission makes the colonization effort more efficient, right? And that is exactly what happens. Let us support this planet, because I want it to stop costing us 40,000 per turn. So good, that's happening. Here, this support is happening. We've built a colony ship. There's another one coming. Now let's see in terms of budget. Yeah, I was thinking, do I keep making more ships over there? But we've run out of money. So next turn, if we don't do anything, we're going to be short funds because we're building from 2 planets at the same time, right? So you can go negative, by the way. You can go into debt. Depending on your government, it might have either no consequence for your morale, or it might have severe consequence for your morale. Also, you then have to pay a percentage of the debt in sort of maintenance and debt payments every turn. So it's just generally a bad idea. Of course, sometimes it's inevitable. But if you can avoid it, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to, just for one turn, turn down our science spending, just so we don't go into debt next turn. But that's going to be quickly taken care of because we have almost finished producing our colony ships at Uxor, and then it's just going to be back. In fact, we've almost finished the colony ships at Archon, so our yearly expenses will be greatly diminished soon. So let's move on to the next turn. I'm very eager to see what is at Ilmatar. Please let it continue. Okay, unfortunately, we can't colonize this, although 667 might be colonizable with better technology. This is not what I wanted to see. Yeah, so so that's the thing about playing Soulforce, right? Is that our only way into the rest of this galaxy is either through the Lear over here or through the Tarka down here. So, yeah. All right, let's survey the Lear.
Yes, Commander.
And I'll have the other survey fleet refuel at Archon and then move down here to survey the Tarka. Yeah, I really am not thrilled about starting a fight early. So the thing is, the Lear typically are fairly peaceful, and often they won't attack you until you attack them. Whereas Tarkas can be a bit more militaristic. I guess that's just how they kind of program the AI to behave. Yeah, that's just really not ideal. Okay, so all right, let's think about something else first. This colonization fleet only has 3 colonizers. I could fit, like, you could have 8 colonizers plus 1 command ship. So I could make 5 more. The thing is, that's 500,000 that I could invest elsewhere because I only have 2 more systems I can colonize, right? Now they're going to be a bit tricky to colonize. Yeah, I think the truth is that if I spend 500k on 5 more colonizers, that is going to save me more than 500k because it's going to significantly reduce the time that these newly formed colonies are at such high development cost. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it's kind of my gut feeling that it's worth investing. Plus, it will also help to continue shifting my government to the left, which was
Aye, Command.
which
We'll
is
have
part
the
of the
ships
plan,
out
right?
in no time.
Oh, something I just noticed. This system. Oh no, he's still. Never mind. This is not important. So when I was in this screen, the building screen, it said, "Oh, you've only assigned 50% of your total potential ship construction to actual ship construction." And what it's referring to is that this slider here can be set between ship construction and the left, which is basically trade. But we haven't set up trade yet, so this is 100%. So why is it saying 50%? And it's because there are 2 planets that are colonized, and this one is at 0. But it's at 0 because it can't build anything yet, because it's still, they're still figuring out how to breathe on that planet. So let's give them a chance before we ask them to build more ships. Okay, let's go back to our technology. So now we can bring up our science spending again, because we're no longer building ships out of 2 dockyards at the same time. So there you go. We'll build a bit of a cushion because we are building colonizers, just not 2 at a time. So this is a reasonable spending amount. Okay, let us continue. We're going to have some tough decisions to make. Here's the thing. Tarka ships are stronger in the early game than Lear ships. So fighting the Tarka is going to be a pain in the early game. But I might not have to fight the Lear if I don't start a war with them. So it really is a bit of a tricky decision. I'm not sure how I want to deal with this. Let us move on to the next turn. Yeah.
A new outpost is
Let's
online
see.
today.
Okay, so
We've made
built
an
the.
early
Okay,
breakthrough,
so
Director.
this is good news. So we built the naval station here, which is going along with our plans of wanting to. Oh, whoops! Not automatic upgrade. To colonize this system faster, so that's good. Now the other thing is we just got that technology. If you remember, last turn we were only halfway. As soon as you pass the 50% mark, you have a chance of discovering the technology. So if you ever feel like you need to cut down on research spending, try to do it after you've gotten 50% past, your technology research. Okay, now our terraforming is going to be more effective, which lines up well because soon we're going to try to colonize that hard to colonize planet. Our next stop is FTL economics, no doubt about it. What are our fleets doing? And I'm aware there's an incoming fleet here. They're just delivering support, right? Yeah, we're just delivering support. I'm building colonizers, but I'm building them at Archon, and the fleet that needs them is based at Uxor. So I'm going to relocate the ships here by doing relocate. They are in the reserves at Archon. So I've only got 1 built. So that ship will get towed to Uxor, and then later I can add it to the colonization fleet in Uxor here. Now, maybe I should have been building them in Uxor all along, but oh well, I forgot. Okay, the construction fleet is done in Cetus. Let's take a look at this fleet. This is probably a survey fleet, yeah. They haven't declared war on me yet. They probably will at some point, but for now, this is not going to be a hostile action, probably, so they're just surveying. Yeah, that's it. This construction fleet, its next move could be to build a naval station at Barrett. One of the next moves is for sure going to be building civilian stations, but we need to get this trading technology. I didn't adjust my economy particularly well, so we went into a little bit of debt, so let's correct that. So we've got this dark blue is our maintenance. So we're paying a lot of upkeep on our fleet, and a lot of that is just we have a ton of colony ships going. So maybe that's not so good. Okay, let's survey. Oh, we did survey Cuthbert already. Sorry, let's survey Bronson Alpha with our survey fleet. So now I have to decide what I do with this construction fleet. Do I build the naval station here right away? It's just because it's money that I don't necessarily want to spend early on. Building a science station. I mean, science stations are important. They boost your science, obviously, but they're expensive, and I don't have the money right now. Basically, is the issue. Yeah. Let's see how. First of all, how is this planet doing? I am going to, you know what, I'm going to not spend that money. I am going to mothball this fleet. So first of all, actually, we have another colony ship. So let's relocate it to Uxor before we forget.
We've got a new supply point.
Let's mothball this construction fleet for now. So I'm going to disband the fleet or dissolve the fleet. And the reason you do that is because ships cost 1/3 the maintenance if they're in reserve instead of being in an active fleet. So if you're not using any ships, then you might as well dissolve the fleets. And we're going to recall them to active duty once we need them to build civilian stations, which is how we're going to set up our trade. Okay, that's it. Let's keep moving along. I'm waiting for the survey results here on the Lear planet because I'm very curious. Like, first of all, is it a tempting system, right? Do I want it? And the answer is, it's not amazing. Wait, but it also doesn't connect to anything? What? Wow, that is weird. I was sure it would connect through here or like somewhere, but apparently it doesn't. That is really strange. Well, I mean, then that makes it easy. We have no choice. We have to go for the Tarka. So that's awful. Okay then, in that case, yeah, we're gonna fight the Tarka very soon. I mean, obviously I say very soon. We're gonna set up our economy first with trade. We're gonna colonize these two shitty planets. Then we're gonna research the bare minimum technology to fight the Tarka, and we're just gonna go for it. I think, so to touch back on what I said earlier about point defense. Like I said, my favorite point defense is
One of our colonies is self-sufficient now, sir.
Is in fact the missile point defense. I might. Oh, there we go. So the colony is self-sufficient. Infrastructure is 100%, and we've brought the terraforming down to nothing. So we're done. We're finished
Mars
colonizing.
Dome.
There's no point in
Mission
continuing to
accomplished.
support. If you look at the planet here, right, it's ready to go. So let's have its ship construction go to 100 because the trading system isn't set up yet. We are going to relocate the relocate the colonization fleet. It's still running on its mission, even though the mission is finished. So let's just skip a turn
Roger,
by
Mars Dome.
canceling.
Awaiting new orders.
Relocate here.
Yes, Commander.
Now, actually, what I'm going to do to save time is I'm going to take the command ship that was formerly commanding this construction fleet, and I'm going to make a colonization fleet out of it. Oh, and we got a new admiral who is good at colonizing. By the way, you get new admirals. I guess this is colonization 3. You get new admirals by building naval stations, basically. So let's send this fleet this way as well. So let's relocate all of these. And then I will
Yes, sir.
send,
We'll transfer to
once
the new
this
base.
planet has finished being supported, then we'll relocate all those colonizers to help at Cetus as well. And there's still going to be one more ship here, one more colonizer still being built that will relocate there as well. Okay, so I think it's a good place to end the video, so thank you very much for watching. In the next episode, I think I'll start sharing some of my plans for how we're going to take on the Tarka, because we don't have much of a choice. We kind of got to do it. Who is this? Oh, great. And behind the Tarka, we have the Sulka. All right, exciting times are sure to come. Thank you for watching. Take care.